listening to the Top Music Guitar Podcast, the show for guitar teachers to learn about the craft of teaching great guitar lessons that students love. If you're looking to start or expand your studio and make guitar teaching your full-time dream job, you've come to the right place. Each week, you'll get to hear from some of the top guitar teachers from around the globe and get their best tips and experiences so you too can build your own dream studio. I'm your host, Michael, and I've founded one of the top guitar schools in Australia, written a best-selling curriculum, and I mentor guitar teachers. I'm excited to share my expertise with you and the wisdom of all the experts we interview. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Let's get into it. Hello there, guys, and welcome to another solo episode of the Top Music Guitar Teachers Podcast. I'm literally flying from the hip here and just sitting down once a week, maybe a couple of times a week, and just spontaneously coming up with a topic to talk about in relation to guitar teaching, running a music teaching studio, any sort of musical education. And a thought that's been weighing on my mind recently is, should you build a music school or should you just stay as a solo teacher? So there's many ways to skin a cat, proverbially. There's many ways to crack a nut, and ultimately you've got to find out what works best for you. Now, I cut my teeth working for another music school when I first got started out. I went off on my own. I taught from home. I got my first commercial location. I've gone through employing people. My school in the most recent financial year did well over $500,000, but we haven't quite cracked seven figures yet. That's still a goal. Now, the reason I'm telling you that is not to brag, but just to qualify you for my advice, because I think we have an epidemic of gurus on social media who took a coaching program that says, pretend to be an expert at something, pick your niche, have a product or a course or a program, and then try and give advice to other people and sell your course to them. There is some merit to, even if you don't know or haven't done something, you can still know about it and teach the theory of it and help people move forward in their businesses. But I think, unfortunately, at the moment, there are a lot of gurus out there on social media who are giving hypothetical advice, who haven't really had any real success for themselves, who haven't built any big businesses or done anything of significance, yet they're selling all these kind of courses. And that doesn't mean their advice is necessarily bad, but it doesn't always come from a place of authority. And once again, that's not always critical. And as I said before, there is good advice is good advice, no matter who it comes from. But sometimes the experience can make a world of difference. And the whole reason I got into the six-figure program and launched that was because I saw a whole bunch of people, or was even contacted by some of these people saying, hey, let me help you get more students and build a bigger business. And when I said, hey, well, what are your figures? You know, I was several $100,000 ahead of what every single person reaching out to me said. So again, there are going to be people who are ahead of me, who have much bigger music schools, who know a lot better and are far more qualified to give my advice. But this is my 2 cents from somebody who has earned over $250,000 US in a single year, keeping about $180,000 of it after tax for myself, teaching out of the spare bedroom at home and making a lot of money. That, although there was lots of teaching hours, was far more lucrative and enjoyable for me than employing a team of 10 people, always putting out fires, always having to cover for people who are sick, having to deal with some teachers being real high performers and other teachers losing a ton of different students, and all the headaches that go with running a business, payroll, tax, admin, and running a business that, you know, is earning over $500,000, but the profit and the take home at the end of the day is less than what it was when I was a solo operation. So for me, a lot of us have this financial goal of, I want this many students, or I want to have this certain revenue target. But what you end up getting is a set of golden handcuffs where, you know, you might be, let's just say you're earning $100,000. You do Michael Gumley's six-figure guitar teacher program. You're earning $100,000 teaching from home or a small office, and you go, awesome. I've got the spare room at my house. I'm making $100,000. There's no cost of renting a commercial location at this point in time. And mind you, in Australia, our commercial rent is significantly higher than that in the US and certain parts of the UK. So we have very inflated real estate prices, which may factor into my decision and why it might be a little bit different if you're in a different part of the world. But having a small office, say $12,000 is probably the cheapest you're going to get, an office that you can comfortably teach a guitar lesson in, even far away from the center of the city here in my home city of Melbourne. If you're going to earn $100,000, you're probably going to keep 75, 80 after tax if you're lucky, if you're set up with your business and you're claiming everything properly. If you're going to then pay 30,000 of that to have a commercial location, all of a sudden you're down to 40,000 that you're keeping afterwards. And by the time you factor in the rest of the cost of living, you're not actually doing all that well, especially if you consider inflation and everything else that's going up. So the problem goes, if I want to employ some other guitar teacher to work for me so I can get some time off, then now I need a bigger place. So my rent goes from $12,000 for a small office or teaching out of my bedroom, the spare bedroom, I should say, to getting a commercial location. So now that's $30,000 to $50,000 I've got to rent, plus I've got to pay another teacher. So now I might have had anywhere between 30 to 60 students as a solo operation making 100,000 to now I need to get 60 to 100 students and I need to scale my operation to be able to make $120,000 to $160,000 just to pay for all my expenses, but to still be in the exact same position after tax. So you get to that point and you go, oh, well, this is good. The growth is nice. We've got a nice new facility to run out of. But then I'm still doing all the work because now I've got to hire an administrator to stop me spending every Saturday and Sunday doing paperwork. So you hire an administrator. That means, oh, well, I need to get another 20 students to cover the cost of this. You get 20 more students, then you burn out teaching, so you get another teacher, and you just start scaling chaos. Now, this isn't 100% my experience, and I'm obviously pouring a bit of salt on the wound here, but a lot of business owners feel like this. You go into business to be free. You go into business to solve problems. And then at some point, you start making money, it starts feeling good, and you scale up your lifestyle. And this is all too common because most people in Western countries, they don't have a saving problem. They make plenty of money, but they spend just as much as they make. Oh, awesome. I got a new job. I'm going to treat myself to a nicer apartment. Fantastic. I got a raise at this new job. I'm going to treat myself to a nicer car. I'm going to start going out a couple of times a week. And your income went up, but so did all your expenses and your cost of living to go with it. Hey there, guys. It's Michael here with a quick message from Top Music. Are you a passionate guitar teacher looking for tips to make lessons more fun and engaging for your students? Maybe you're struggling to grow your business and need help getting more students to take lessons with you. Maybe you're a guitar player who wants to get out of a day job and make music your full-time gig with some teaching on the side. If you found yourself saying yes, then look no further than a membership with us at Top Music Guitar. Top Music is a place music teachers can come together from all over the world to share ideas, develop both their teaching skills and their business knowledge, and receive advice from industry experts. You'll get access to over 20 courses for guitar teachers and a host of general music teaching resources that will help you have a bigger impact on your students, teach better lessons, and of course, make you more money. For less than the price of what you charge for a private lesson, $49 per month, you'll get access to everything you need to bring your studio to life and become the best teacher you can be. Join now at www.topmusicguitar.com. Now, back to the podcast. So we just end up digging a hole for ourselves. The more we make, the more we spend. And rather than live at the same pace or run a business at the same pace and scale up the revenue and the savings, we just scale up what we do and scale up our expenses. So I'm almost of the opinion, especially if your priority is playing guitar and having a really successful music career or spending more time with your family, that you don't want to go out and build a music school. You don't want to try and have a whole bunch of people working for you. Yes, if you are really good at business and you have great systems in place and you love the challenge of employing people, by all means, go out and do it. And the upside of that, you can definitely have a very, very profitable music school. There is no denying that. You just need the right business model. And if you scale the wrong business model, you just end up paying the government its tax money and all your staff their wages. And then you as the business owner have the crumbs left over. If you structure with the right model, you should have plenty of money left over. But most people don't have that right model in place. Most people are scaling chaos or scaling disorganization, or they try a new initiative to solve a problem, and every new thing they introduce creates another problem for them, which they've got to fall back on. So it's this never-ending cycle of get more students, grow the business grows, the costs of doing business grow, and then you're just in this vicious cycle, this eternal hamster wheel. I forget the name of the that guy from Greek mythology that has to keep on rolling the boulder up the hill. This is really going to bother me now. I'll have to post it in the show notes. But you roll the boulder up the hill all the day, and then when you wake up the next day, it's rolled back down and you've got to start it once again from scratch. So what's the solution? Guys, my solution is simple. And this is the advice not for the people that want to build a 7-figure music studio, because if you want to make 7 figures teaching guitar, then you need to have a school that does that for you. You need to be helping enough people to generate $1 million. Now, yes, you can do that if you sell enough books, if you have a big enough YouTube channel, if you're quite savvy at selling online courses. It definitely can be done. You can leverage yourself through all these other means. But if you are teaching people with a brick and mortar location, you simply just have to have a big school and scale it to that point. What I highly recommend is just being a solo teacher. If you can set yourself up to teach from home, where you have a garage space which you can convert into a studio, or a spare room where you can convert into a studio, where you can teach groups of 4 to 6 people, you can easily make $100,000 a year teaching guitar, up to about 120, if not 160, working 10 to 15 hours a week. That's what we cover in the 6-figure program. That is a much, much more guitar-friendly, life-friendly model than running a whole music school. And I would highly recommend it. And again, even if you're just teaching one-on-one lessons, you're still going to work 40 hours a week to make $100,000. I don't advocate for that. You want to leverage yourself through groups. You want to make it so that you're teaching 10, 12 hours, maybe 15 max, so that you have a lot of energy for creativity, for your music, for touring, for spending time with your family. Would I like to make $1 million teaching? Yes, and that's my goal. And I'm not going to give up till I get there, because I'm not a quitter. By the time I get to $1 million, yes, I'm going to have a very big profit margin in my business as well. That's the model that we have. But in the short term, you're in that cycle of paying for rent, paying for employees, having all these admin hours, all these systems that need set up. It's not for everyone. And a lot of the time, you got into guitar teaching as a bit of money on the side, or because you wanted to share your passion with other people. And you're not necessarily cut out to be a CEO. You may not have the goal of being a CEO. You might like the money. You might like the idea of having a big school. But is all the work that goes into that pulling you away from your original goal? And your goal might have been just to have fun teaching guitar, to make a bit of cash on the side, to be able to fund your music career so you can go off on tour, to be able to provide for your family without necessarily being away from them for long periods of time. It might be so that you can make enough money teaching online so that you can live in a tiny house or a mobile home and travel around the world, or busk or tour all around the world while still having a steady income from teaching. That's all stuff that can be set up relatively easily. We can talk about it in Top Music, the digital nomad lifestyle. We can talk about it 6-figure guitar teacher with that program of how to actually scale the model. Both the Business Blueprint course in the Top Music program talks about that, and obviously the 6-figure program comes with specific coaching on that. If you want to build a music school, go for it. But just come to the realization that that's going to be 5 to 10 years of hard work for most people. And it may not be in alignment with why you originally started playing guitar and or teaching guitar. So with that one out the way, guys, I would love to hear your thoughts. Please comment on this wherever you're listening to it. Come in the Top Music Guitar Teacher Facebook group or on the forum if you're a member, and reach out to us. The only feedback I get is when you either reach out in the comment section wherever I post this, or occasionally we get emails, michael@topmusic.co. But unless you're actively reaching out and telling me what you want to hear more of, whether you like the interviews more or the solo episodes I'm doing here, I really don't know unless you tell me. So would appreciate any and all feedback. If you think I'm wrong, of course, tell me. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to debate you on the show potentially about anything to do with any sort of guitar teaching. But I appreciate listening to this. And before I go, if you're a guitar teacher and you need help becoming a better teacher, you need help making more money, finding more students, getting your life organized, reach out to me, michael@topmusic.co. I'd love to help. And as I said, I've got a ton of different programs, which you're going to hear about very, very shortly. But I'm here to help you. Reach out when you need me. Peace out. Thanks. And we'll see you in the next episode. Hey there, guys. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Top Music Guitar Teaching Podcast. If you have any questions about anything we discussed on the podcast, reach out to me at michael@topmusic.co via email. If you want to guest on the show because you're doing some wonderful things in the teaching space, I would love to hear from you. Or if you've got any suggestions for guests or topics we can discuss, as always, you know where to find me. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is our Top Music Guitar Teaching membership. We have over 1,000 members at Top Music, and that is a huge community of people that you can connect with online, share wonderful teaching tips, and of course, network with. We've also got over 20 courses for music teachers, 12 special ones for guitar on every topic imaginable, from group teaching, private teaching, how to find more students, how to build websites, everything you could possibly want to need to know about teaching, building a business, and getting more students is covered. And you get access to all of this for $49, probably less than what you charge for a 1-hour private lesson every single month. So don't miss out on this awesome opportunity. Visit our website, www.topmusicguitar.com, and join us in the membership. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.